How's it going, guys? Joxel here, and I got two really great products to compare side by side with you today. We have Skullcandy's Crusher Wireless versus Apple's Beats Solo 3 Wireless. So the first one we're going to start with is the Beats. So basically the box has a cover, slides out, and this top cover comes off. Now, I really like the way they package the Beats products. Apple does a good job of all their packaging, even their iPhones or their MacBooks or anything for that matter. So you're greeted by this nice little cover that says "Change the way you hear sound," followed by the Beats logo. It has a nice little tab so you're not fumbling with the actual cover to try and take it out with your nails. Pull that up. When you pull up the cover, it reveals a nice little Beats case. Put that over here. And inside the case is the headphones. So we take the little case out. Nice little headphone case. Basically it's your normal cotton. Has a zipper. And inside you got your Beats. They also have another little tab to remove this piece here, which then reveals, if I can get my finger in, there we go. Pull this up, and inside you got your cord, another tab for your manuals, extra cable, and your manuals in a nice little package slip. So, like I said, inside the case, headphones will be folded up. Now I will say this, the design of the Solo 3s is not very different from the Solo 2s. Unfortunately, it still has these little plastic hinges that always will break, so you gotta be careful when you put them on your head. The actual earmuffs are very soft. Here's how it looks on your head. Basically, it's considered on your headphones because it doesn't fully go around your earlobe. It sits on it. So the problem with that is that it hugs kind of tight, which is good. So if I'm shaking around or if I'm working out or doing anything with a lot of movement, it's not going to really fall off my head that easily. One problem I had with the Studios is while they did grip tight, if I was doing anything with like crunches or anything, they'd fall off my head. These I can move around and they won't exactly slip off that easily. What I like about the Beats is they're really stylish. Everybody knows the iconic logo. They look slick. You know, they pretty much go with most outfits, so you don't have to worry about having to switch them up, especially if you get it with a neutral color like black. But yeah, looks pretty good if you ask me. Next up we have the Skullcandy Crusher Wireless. Now I will say Skullcandy really surprised me with this because, granted, I've always been an advocate for Skullcandy because I love their sound for the price. They've been, in my opinion, unbeatable for a long time, even before they started releasing the Supreme sound and everything. But this was a little bit unexpected. I didn't expect the level of quality. Really, Luna? Really? Luna, what are you doing, Luna? What are you doing? So yeah, they really surprised me with this product. I really enjoyed trying them out, listening to them, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep this pair. Unlike the Beats, instead of having that slip over it, the graphics are just printed on the front, and it actually flips over. Inside, you have your holder that is actually encasing the headphones. Now, what I like about Skullcandy's holder is that, one, instead of it just being straight cotton on the outside, the inside is actually a felt, which is pretty sick. Again, it shows you bass you can feel because that's kind of the trademark of the Crushers. And at the top, you have your accessories, your cords and everything, and then a nice little slip for the manual. Nice little holder. So these are the Crusher Wireless. I like the design of these a lot more than I thought it would. Very simple, not as loud as some of the other models Skullcandy has released. Trademarks of the Crushers, obviously you got your controls. I like the big buttons, easy to find when you're not looking, but doesn't take away from the design. And then also you got your bass slider on the front. The only thing that some people don't like about them is these wires. And I know these are a pet peeve for a lot of people out there. I personally don't feel them, but then again I have a lot of hair, so I don't really feel much. But they don't typically get in the way. I've heard some people say that they feel them, some people say they don't. They just press against the actual headphones if your hair rubs against them. So they're not bad. These are plush, very nice, very awesome. Unlike the Beats that have the metal band all around, these have a nice faux leather going on. I think it's a little bit of pleather. I don't know if it's real. I doubt it's real leather. They also have memory foam earmuffs. Now these earmuffs feel so nice. It's like super comfortable. And these are considered over the ear because they fit all the way around your ear. Alright, so this is so you guys can see what it looks like on my head. As you can see, it's pretty clean, similar to the Beats in terms of its color. This is more of a matte versus that gloss finish. Basically, they're real slick. They don't have more of a contemporary style to them. I like that. These are over-the-ear headphones, so they fit over your earlobes rather than just pressing against them, so that makes them a little bit more comfortable. That paired with the memory foam ear cups makes it very nice to wear for a long period of time. They're pretty tight, so they won't move around your head. These are actually tighter than the Solos are. The only thing that kind of makes them a little bit annoying is if you actually hit your head against something or you tap the driver, you can hear the vibration of the actual driver inside your earmuff. So that can be kind of annoying if you're like hitting stuff with your head or anything like that. But passive noise isolation is actually really good, surprisingly. So granted, while there's no music playing, you can kind of hear outside, and I can hear myself talking. You can carry a conversation. However, if you listen to music, not so much. So that's pretty good. The buttons are hidden on the back instead of the front, so that makes them more aesthetically pleasing. On the left side, I got the bass slider, and then on the right side, I got my buttons. The buttons work well on both Android and iPhone, so I tried them on both and they work really good, so I like that about them. But as you can see, they look pretty nice on side by side. So comparing them side by side, you can see that the Crushers have a little bit bigger footprint, bigger size. They're going to be a little bit heavier. Obviously, the Solos are going to be a bit lighter. They have smaller ear cups, smaller drivers, so that's why they're also going to be on the ear versus over the ear. Alright guys, so you see the differences between them in terms of aesthetics and how they look, but now it's time to tell you about my actual experience with both products. There's three things I want to focus on when it comes to sound quality of both products. That's going to be contrast of the sound, clarity, and concentration. So what that means, basically, your contrast in your sound is going to be the difference between how low it can get and how high it can get. The greater the contrast, the greater range of sound you'll be able to hear. The second thing being clarity is how clear you can hear each individual instrument being played in song or whatever you're listening to. In this case, I'll be measuring the clarity of both the Beats versus the Crushers. And then lastly, your concentration. What I mean by concentration is essentially where the range focuses on. Does the headset focus its range on the low end, the mids, or on the high end? To give a good example, I don't know if you guys have heard of the new Bose QC35s or the Quiet Comfort 35s. Those are considered a high-end concentration, mainly because their sound range focuses on the mids and the highs, and they give you really clear and concise audio. Unfortunately, when it comes to the QC35s, it really lacks on the bass and the low end because that's not what their focus is. That's not what they're marketing for. They market for good, crisp audio clarity. So starting with the Beats, when it comes to contrast, the Beats have a pretty small contrast. So what I mean by that is the Beats are really low bass heavy, but their highs are okay. They have pretty decent mids, so the contrast is not that wide. Great, they're okay for listening to all genres of music. Again, we'll say the bass does kind of wash out some of the mids and the higher end notes. So if you're listening to things like classical, or you're listening to things like jazz, or anything that has a little bit of bass, in a lot of cases it's going to overbear some of the other mid and high end sounds. When it comes to the mid-range sounds, you'll hear the mids a little bit more clearly than you will in the crushers when it comes to the Beats. The Beats is concentration obviously for the low end. That's what they market to those who listen to things like hip-hop, dubstep, bass-heavy content. So that's what you're going, when you're buying this product, you're expecting to have a more bass-driven headset. So don't be surprised, and it is no surprise when it comes to having your bass that kind of washes out everything. Now on to the crushers. The crushers are in the same boat as the Beats in terms of their concentration being on the bass heads. You're going to have a lot more bass, which is why these are called crushers. They have a separate driver specifically for bass and low levels. However, what I like about this is that its contrast is actually quite wide. You can hear the highs pretty well actually as compared to the lows, and the lows go far deeper than you get with the Beats, surprisingly. The only thing one of the drawbacks when it comes to the contrast is that the clarity in the mid-range level is disappointing. You don't really hear a lot of the mids and the lower vocals as well as you will hear them in the Beats. Granted, this was something that I had to get over a little bit at first, because at first it was really taken away from the experience. But as I continue to use them and play with the bass tuner, when you turn the bass down to its mid to low levels, it actually brings up the levels of the mid-range sounds a lot better, so you get that better listening experience. For me, I really like the idea of having a bass slider, mainly because it allows you to fine-tune your listening experience depending on the content that you're enjoying. So if I ever want to listen to rock, or if I ever want to listen to classical or jazz music where I'm focused mainly on the mids and highs, I can turn the bass level down so that way it does not drown out those other sounds. In this case, it's very useful and it works really well. In terms of its clarity, again, it's clear in the highs and the mids for the most part, more so in the highs in this case. Again, the mids are not going to be as clear as the Beats solos. Battery life is great. It does last 40 hours as compared to the Beats, so they both got great battery life. And it's also going to charge in about the same time. It's going to take about 3 hours to go into full charge. It also uses that Android charger, otherwise known as micro USB. So if you have an Android phone, kudos to you. Otherwise, it does come with the actual charging cables in both boxes as well. You can get the Solo 3s on sale at your local electronics store for about $224.99. Normally they're priced at $299, so that's pretty cool. Pretty much expected for Beats. Beats are going to be expensive for the product. Do I think it's worth $299? Not at all. But it is what it is, because you're paying for the brand, you're paying for the experience of having that brand, and you're paying for the design of the product. When it comes to the Skullcandies, I'm actually quite surprised closely as it compares to the Beats. It's only $149. Normally priced at $200, $150 is not a bad deal for these, so I definitely recommend picking them up before they go off sale. $150 versus $225 for the sound, the comparison for as closely they resemble them, the style, the comfort, sound quality, the adjustability. For me, the winner in this case has to be the Skullcandies, mainly because after extensive testing on both and listening to a variety of different music, I listen to all genres of music, from classical to metal to EDM, hip-hop. The only thing I don't listen profusely to is country. I don't like country, so don't hate me for that. But testing them both across a wide variety of different genres, artists, and styles, Skullcandies, man, they just perform so much better, only because that bass slider just gives them that edge. You can adjust the bass to your liking, and if you feel like the bass is overwhelming in one song, it's literally just a flick of a switch, and boom, you can hear everything else a lot more clearly, and it just gives them an unfair advantage. But the build quality is amazing. I'm actually really surprised by it, and the fact that it's so much cheaper than the Beats at regular price and on sale, it's a no-brainer for me. So if you're looking for a new headset to get and you're not trying to spend $300, I recommend the crushers. The Beats, however, are also a great product. I'm not going to crush on them. They're pretty nice. The one thing I will like about them is the style, the recognizability, the notability of the product. They work well with Apple products, obviously, and it's going to be a big thing for you guys who have the iPhone 7 and don't have that headphone jack. If you like me doing this kind of thing and you like being able to figure out what the products are like before you actually go and buy them, and you want an honest, non-biased comparison, drop a like, subscribe, give me some comments, and let me know that you want me to keep doing things like this. I have a love for technology, and I love being able to compare products so I can make an educated decision and help you guys do the same thing. So please let me know. If anything, thanks for watching, and I look forward to making the next video for you guys.